What up guys, Spyro here! Before we start the video, I just want to let you know how you can help JT Anime's channel grow by going to check out their merch store on Etsy, where you can help support the channel by purchasing merchandise like this Bring You All That Nerdy Goodness t-shirt, multiple variants coming soon. And just to remind you, new merchandise will be added monthly and all confirmed purchases will get a special shout out in future videos. You can also support them at their Buy Me a Coffee page, where they'll soon be offering membership exclusive content such as videos and more of their original and upcoming content like JT Anime and Nerd's upcoming Pendragon Knights of the Round, one of many stories within JT Anime's new superhero universe. Finally, be sure to check out their Amazon affiliate links in the description and pinned comment below. You can not only find incredible products, but also help them toward our goal of turning this YouTube channel into a full-time gig, so they can provide you with higher quality content. So be sure to Hulk smash that subscribe button for more content. JT Anime and Nerd, bringing you all that nerdy goodness. Enjoy the video! What up guys, JT Anime and Nerd here, bringing you all that nerdy goodness. Today I am happy to give you guys episode 1 of my concept of a TV show of Crash Bandicoot. Now I am relatively new to Crash Bandicoot, but I've been doing my Crash lore homework very thoroughly, so I'll do the best I can with each episode. Now when it comes to voice actors, we know that all Crash needs is someone to make sounds, so I can 100% confirm he won't be talking for the majority of the series, like 98%. Him speaking will only ever be for important or extremely comedic parts, but when it comes to a voice actor, I would stick with one of his current ones, Jess Harnell, as his experience voice acting Wacko does make him perfect for that Looney Tunes-esque comedy. That being said, while I am good with serious storytelling, I'm not the best when it comes to comedy. I only know what I know from cartoons, so don't expect full comedy gold. Now when it comes to the voice of Aku Aku, he would be voiced by, of course, Greg Eagles, the famous voice of both Aku Aku and Grim from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, one of my favorite shows growing up. Now of course when it comes to Coco, she would be voiced by the talented Debbie Derryberry, who's known for voicing Coco, as well as Jimmy Neutron, another show I grew up watching as a kid. Finally, when it comes to the voice of Tana, I want her to be voiced by Stephanie Beatriz. I know Tana in the main timeline was the stereotypical damsel in distress, but I at least want her to be a bit like her alternate version by at least knowing how to fight and have that kick-butt attitude while still being a bit of a damsel in distress type. And yes, she and Crash are already a thing by the time this series begins. Now we get to Papu Papu, who would be voiced by Maurice LaMarche. Sorry if I butchered that name, but in case you don't know who that is, if you grew up watching Tak and the Power of Juju, he voiced the chief of the tribe, which is a voice that also works for Papu Papu. Finally, we get to a kind of new, but not new character, you'll see what I mean. But I call him Waka Waka. If you get that reference, then you are awesome. But he would be voiced by John DiMaggio. I'm sure most of you guys would prefer him to be voice Uka Uka, who will appear in the future, but out of the 3 voice actors that voiced him over the years, I went with the best of the 3 for him, which isn't John DiMaggio in my opinion. Please don't come at me too hard in the comments for that. Finally, since Crash isn't going to talk for the majority of the series, his actions will be told through sound effect, be they from what I get online or my own voice. So, without further ado, I give you guys episode 1, Trouble in Paradise. The story begins on Insanity Island, in what's known as Native Village. Tribesmen are roaming around, while inside the giant hut, the chieftain, known as Papu Papu, is taking a nap on his throne while being surrounded by countless tributes of Wumpa fruit. From above, Crash sneaks into the hut, attempting to steal Papu Papu's Wumpa fruits. As Crash keeps collecting Wumpa fruit, he ultimately ends up making a tower that he has to carry. However, one Wumpa fruit falls down, leaving Crash to use his foot to keep the fruit from falling, leaving himself balancing on one foot. Just then, another fruit begins to fall, leading Crash to grab it with his mouth, becoming more unbalanced. Without notice, a grounded Wumpa fruit begins rolling toward Crash. As Crash begins to hop backwards to move, he ends up stepping and slipping on the Wumpa fruit. As Crash slips and hits the ground, the Wumpa fruits all fall and splat, making a huge mess. At the same time, a few fruits end up hitting Papu Papu. What? As a messy Papu Papu looks closely, he sees Crash getting up, wiping a bit of Wumpa fruit off of him. Crash then senses something, only for it to be an enraged Papu Papu glaring at him with anger. Feeling the awkward tension, Crash awkwardly cleans up Papu Papu's face, pretending everything's okay as the chieftain continues to glare at Crash in rage. Crash Bandicoot! Papu then grabs his nearby tribal staff and begins trying to whack at Crash, who is able to dodge each swing surprisingly. Hold still, you no-good bender! Swiftly, Crash jumps onto Papu Papu's head, rendering him temporarily unconscious and slightly cracks the mask on his head. You no good. What? Crash! Get back here, you thieving Bandicoot! As Crash runs away, Papu exits his hut, running after Crash in heated rage. The chase continues into the Insanity Jungle of Insanity Island. You can't get away from me, you mangy rodent! As the chase continues, Crash looks on to see giant rolling stones in the middle of the Insanity Jungle. Desperate to get away, Crash dodges and sometimes jumps over the rolling stones. You aren't getting away, you accursed rodent! Papu gets hit by a rolling stone, leading Crash to look back. Crash attempts to keep going. Crash gets to stop running due to coming face to face with a man-eating plant. As Crash attempts to run away in a Flintstone-like cartoony fashion in midair, the man-eating plant eats him whole, only to feel Crash struggle within his mouth as Crash punches and kicks to get out. The plant ultimately spits Crash out after all the pain, but the saliva on Crash puts him face to face with a slightly injured and angry Papu Papu. Crash then runs back in the plant's direction, Papu following behind in rage. Get back here, you miserable Bandicoot! Swiftly, the man-eating plant and attempts to eat Papu Papu, Papu's legs being the only thing sticking out of the plant's mouth. No! Someone get me out of here! As Crash continues to run, he looks forward only to be stopped and confronted by none other than Aku Aku, giving Crash a stern look, which ultimately ends the chase. Crash looks up at Aku Aku with a guilty smirk. Away from view, a group of tribesmen are attempting to pull Papu Papu out of the plant's mouth, ultimately succeeding, accidentally pulling Papu toward Crash and Aku Aku's direction after the plant let go of Papu. Crash and Aku look on to see Papu on the ground, exaggeratingly injured while the tribesmen get up to aid their chieftain. The tribesmen then help Papu Papu up. Are you okay, Chief Papu? Papu Papu gets up in anger, wiping the dirt off of himself. This is the last straw, Aku Aku! Now, Papu. You know he's just a boy. Don't play that game with me! That's no excuse for letting him run around on his own and letting him think he can do whatever he wants on the island. I have great respect for you as the guardian of the Wumpa Islands, but ever since you took in this Bandicoot, he's been nothing but trouble. Last month he tried to dig us a moat. You asked for one, but not one with actual live crocodiles, although the crocodile meat was appreciated. But then there was the Wumpa fruit fight he started at the feeding grounds. Well, you gotta admit she had it coming. Agreed. My mother can be a very hurtful person. But that's not the point. And let's not forget how last month, when he set Insanity Jungle on fire, Ooh, I haven't got an argument for that one.
This Bandicoot isn't just trouble, he's stupid! Ah!
Okay, Chief Papu, no need for name calling.
I've had it up to here, Aku Aku. I have half a mind to make it illegal for him eating Wumpa fruits ever again.
Now, Papu, that seems a bit harsh. Look, I promise I'll take care of Crash, but can you at least give him one more chance? Papu thinks for a moment, thinks of something in particular, or just then.
Fine. Never let it be said that I'm not a fair chief. To repay for the Wumpa fruits he stole and destroyed.
You stole Wumpa fruits, Crash?
I'm going to insist that he harvests a tribute of 100 Wumpa fruits by the time of the eclipse.
Crash and Aku are shocked by this turn of events.
But that's at midnight. Wumpa fruits are at the end of their season. We'll be up all night. Well, then you'd better get started. Because if the tribute isn't received by the eclipse's apex, Crash will be forever banished from the Insanity Islands and your Wumpa fruit supply will be cut off.
Papu then takes his leave alongside his tribesmen.
I have spoken.
Come on, Crash. I'm sure Tana will make you something to eat at home. Or your name's not... Meanwhile, in the native village, Papu Papu sits on his throne.
So then, you believe this will work?
Suddenly, the mask on Papu Papu's head strangely comes to life. A mask voiced by John DiMaggio.
Of course! Because of that Bandicoot, we've been set back! But with the Bandicoot and Aku Aku collecting the tribute for us, we can continue as planned. And the best part is that Aku Aku has no idea.
And you promised my people will be safe.
Of course! Remember, this is all in the name of Tikimon. In the name of Tikimon.
On the coast of Insanity Beach, Aku Aku and Crash, who's walking in a slump, arrive back at the Bandicoot house, which also serves as a business titled Tana's Tiki Lounge. As Coco is on her laptop by the bar area, Tana is seen behind the bar cleaning the counters as the bartender. Meanwhile, many islanders and tourists are dining and drinking Wumpa juices around the lounge.
Hey, Crash!
Crash and Aku slowly approach the bar, followed by Crash sitting on a chair and plopping his face onto the bar in sorrow.
Oh boy, what happened to my handsome Bandicoot this time?
Oh, he really did it this time. Crash attempted to steal Papu Papu's Wumpa fruits.
Crash, you know if you want Wumpa fruits, you have to wait till for the fruits to grow on our trees like everyone else. Ugh. Okay, so how did Papu Papu take to my bad Bandicoot trying to swipe his sweets?
First of all, we get it, he's your boyfriend. Second, as recompense, Papu is making him collect 100 Wumpa fruits in preparation for tonight's eclipse tribute. Otherwise, Crash is forever banished from Insanity Island.
What? But Aku Aku, you can't let him do that, can you?
Despite being the guardian of the Wumpa Islands, Papu is the rightful ruler of Insanity Island, and I must respect his rule. I began collecting on our way here, and I've obtained about 15 Wumpa fruits.
Oh good, now we got 85 more to go before midnight. And they're not even in season anymore. Plus I still have a lounge to run here until the end of the day. I can help. Just give me some time and I can invent something to help collect the fruits faster. I guess I could close up early. After all, there's no way I could live without my Crashy Washy.
Crash looks up at Tana with puppy dog eyes, leading Tana to kiss his forehead. Aku and Coco look on in slight disgust, just as she finished typing on her laptop.
Anyway, I already finished the schematic as we were talking. I better get started.
Coco then steps off the chair and heads into the house. Very well.
I'll go search around Insanity Jungle. Don't let Crash go anywhere near the native village.
Aku Aku then teleports away instantly.
This is gonna be a long day. Alright everyone, the lounge has to close early for inspection reasons, so I'm gonna have to ask everyone to leave in a peaceful fashion.
I wanted another Wumpa smoothie.
And on the fact we don't serve Wumpa smoothies yet, I'm gonna go barf.
Tana then steps away from the bar. 1 hour later, Crash and Tana are sleeping back to back while sitting against a tree. A small kiss print on Crash's left cheek. Just then, a metal foot stomps with a loud thud.
I'm up.
Tana and Crash then look on to see something unexpected.
Whoa. Behold my latest invention, the Wumpatron 3000. Why did it have to be a mecha? I've just been watching a lot of Japanese monster movies lately, so it just popped in my head.
The mecha then begins to become unbalanced.
Whoa!
The mecha crashes into a tree, which brings down other trees like dominoes.
I'm still working out the kinks. It has a storage unit of up to 2,000 pounds, so we should be able to collect even more Wumpa fruits than promised. That's all well and good, but if Wumpa fruits are out of season, where exactly are we going to find any? An excellent question, Tana. Follow me for the answer.
As Coco walks off, Crash and Tana shrug their shoulders in curiosity, deciding to follow behind. Moments later, Coco brings Tana and Crash to an uncharted part of Insanity Jungle, one with a huge statue in the distance.
I found it a week ago. Haven't seen anyone here, and look!
Coco uses the mech's cannon to suck in at least 3 Wumpa fruits from nearby.
Wumpa fruits galore!
Crash and Tana then smile at each other, excited for this discovery. A montage then begins of Crash, Tana, and Coco going all over the hidden part of Insanity Jungle to find all the Wumpa fruits they can. They first look in a few trees, able to find a few while Crash tries to eat them, but Tana is able to get his fruits before he tries to gulp them down, while Crash cartoonishly breaking his teeth after biting nothing, shattering them in an instant. The next place they search is near the swampy areas, where Coco is able to use the mecha to vacuum suck a few remaining fruits from nearby while Tana is searching for Crash, only to see him being crushed by a snake. Tana then grabs the snake, causing him to drop Crash. Crash then gets up to see Tana beating up the snake. The serpent is in a mangled state as Tana and Crash walk away with smiles on their faces. Finally, the trio is running through the jungle treetops, grabbing and sucking in as many fruits as they can gather. The trio then jumps up in excitement for getting close to their quota. Hours later, Crash, Tana, and Coco are asleep in the middle of the jungle, surrounded by about 100 Wumpa fruits. Meanwhile, within the jungle, Aku Aku has collected at least 50 Wumpa fruits. Guess I'm not the Wumpa picker I was when I was alive. I guess it's time to go home and think of... Just then, Aku Aku hears the sound of chanting coming from the edge of the jungle. Hey, that way is... Aku Aku then teleports nearby, witnessing tribesmen doing a ritual dance in front of what appears to be an ancient idol of some kind. Tiki-man, the Totem God. But why are the tribesmen here? No, it can't be. Oh, but it is. Aku turns around, only to be knocked out by Papu Papu's staff in a hilarious fashion. Oh, don't worry. You'll have a front row seat to the return of the Totem God.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you awesome merch. Support JT Anime Nerd by purchasing from his merch store on Etsy, like this Why So Serious Joker hat, or this I Always Come Back William Afton hat. You can even support the creator himself by purchasing the Bringing You All That Nerdy Goodness shirt. Multiple variants coming soon. Supplies may be limited, but new merch is added monthly. You can visit the shop by clicking the link below in the description and pinned comment section. And if you make a purchase, let us know in the comments below, and we'll be sure to give you a shout out for every purchase at the end of each video. Enjoy JT Anime Nerd, bringing you all that nerdy goodness. And be sure to Hulk smash that subscribe button if you wish to see more of JT Anime Nerd's videos. Thanks for watching.
Meanwhile, in Insanity Jungle, the Bandicoot trio wakes up, Tana then noticing something in the sky.
Oh boy. The eclipse is almost at its apex. And by the looks of it, we've gathered 100 Wumpa fruits. Alright, let's pack them up and get to the native village.
No need. Crash and friends then look to see Papu and his tribesmen standing behind them.
Ah, so you've completed the task. How wonderful.
Yep, so you get your Wumpa fruits and Crash isn't kicked off the island.
Well, like I said, I'm a fair chief, and to show how fair I am, why not join the eclipse ritual with us? I assure you, there will be much food aside from, well, you know, Wumpa fruits.
Alright, what's your game? First you want him gone, now you're inviting him to a ritual?
Well, I felt bad for how I reacted. It's just that this tradition has been in my family for generations, and the moment I saw a threat to it, I may have overreacted. So I'd like to say I'm sorry.
Drama. I need more drama.
Crash then goes up to Papu Papu and cartoonishly kisses him in the face.
Yuck!
Fine, we'll humor you.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret it.
A moment later, Crash and the gang all exit Insanity Jungle and approach the idol known as the Totem God.
What is that? It's the idol of the Totem Gods. Sometimes it's even referred to as the Totem God itself.
Tana then looks at Coco, surprised that she'd ever talk about anything mythological instead of scientific.
I admit I'm not 100% on this mojo mumbo jumbo, but I do love the study of the mythology.
Crash begins zooming around, observing the idol with cartoonish super speed and curiosity.
It's said that the ancients created these idols to protect the Wumpa Islands against evil. Question is, what kind of evil?
Oh, you know, it's just a superstition and the world-ending kind of evil. Now then, everyone, please, we must begin the eclipse ritual.
After placing the Wumpa fruit around the Totem God, the tribesmen begin a ritualistic chant and dance. After a lengthy dance, Papu and Waka are noticing something.
Why isn't it working? The ritual dance should be sending the signal to the eclipse.
As Crash peeks from behind a rock, he notices the tribesmen dancing.
Ah!
Crash then joins in on the dance, much to everyone's surprise, doing his signature Bandicoot dance.
Well, Crash always did love a dance party. You gotta admit, the Bandicoot's got moves. Ugh. Okay, we get it, you're an item. We don't need to hear about it 24/7. Sorry.
Unbeknownst to everyone, Crash's dancing triggers the mojo within his body, causing the eclipse to react to it and begin radiating energy of its own.
Huh?
Crash begins to crawl around, smelling something familiar. Just then, the eclipse finally reaches its apex. It's really weird how midnight isn't exactly night around this time. It's a complex cosmology, Itana. It only happens once every 1,000 years, a cosmic anomaly that even confuses science. Meanwhile, Crash crawls around and continues to sniff something out, only to find none other than Aku Aku held against a tree by some kind of magic.
Ah!
Crash is then knocked out by a coconut, leading Aku Aku to notice a tribesman above. Sometimes I wonder how this mojo stuff works.
Oh, that's a simple answer.
Tana and Coco look on as Papu Papu nervously turns around, Waka Waka finally revealing himself to them.
It's how the ancients designed this time of year.
Leaping leopards! Okay, that's an obvious reference, but what the what?
What are you doing? Why would you reveal yourself now? It's a pretty stupid move, especially this far into the episode. Silence, puppet! Puppet? I thought we had something special. Enough! The time to conquer the Wumpa Islands has come!
Tana and Coco then look up in response to a whirring sound. Suddenly, the eclipse above begins to radiate a mystical energy of some sort, followed by shooting it down as a beam of purple energy at the Totem God.
What on Mojo?
Tana then looks at Coco in surprise.
What? A girl of science can be open-minded, especially when they're seeing it happen.
As the beam of energy disintegrates the Wumpa fruit surrounding it, the fruit then transmutes into a strange form of energy, presumably Mojo, and then seeps into the Totem God, leading it to awaken from its long slumber.
Yes! Rise, Totem God!
As the Totem God begins pulling itself out of the ground, it then shows that it doesn't have any legs.
Rise! Whoa, wait!
Not having any legs, the Totem God begins to tip over forward, much to the Tribesmen and Waka Waka's distress. Tana, Coco, and Papu Papu along with Waka jump up away from the falling Totem God, which crashes down onto the ground. Ironically, this distress causes Waka's mojo magic to diminish, freeing Aku Aku as a result. Aku Aku then uses his power to teleport Crash to where Tana and Coco are.
Aku Aku!
After the smoke clears, Papu and Waka are seemingly unharmed.
Well, it appears I didn't account for the lack of legs.
And on that note, it's over, Waka Waka.
Oh, don't worry. I know how to fix it.
Waka then takes his leave of Papu Papu, deciding to place himself on the Totem God's head.
No, wait!
After placing himself on the Totem God's head, Waka allows the Totem God to be able to float, no longer needing legs to move about.
Today marks the era of Waka Waka!
Just then, Crash wakes up, looking up at the Totem God suddenly.
Duh! Aku Aku, what's going on?
I'll explain later. Right now, we need to go. Aku Aku is able to teleport everyone, including the Tribesmen, away from where the Totem God's fist could crush them.
Curses! Oh well, at least I'll be able to conquer the Wumpa Islands now.
Meanwhile, Aku Aku successfully teleports everyone back to the native village, defended within the native fortress.
Is everyone okay?
Just about. The mecha's busted from the Totem God's fall.
Tana then grabs Papu Papu by his necklace, looking him in the eye with violent intent.
Okay, Papu.
Tana then begins cartoonishly shaking Papu, being able to lift him up with superpowered strength.
You've got just 5 seconds to tell us what you did, or I'm gonna beat the answer out of you like a Wumpa fruit when you pound it into the ground.
I swear, I never wanted this.
Then what was up with the statue?
During this conversation, Crash is looking around for some food, not really paying attention to everyone else. This is the work of Waka Waka, the student of a great evil that I once brought down thousands of years ago.
Okay, so why did he look like you?
Crash starts lifting people up to look for something to eat. When a witch doctor completes their training, death is not meant to be the end. Instead, they are to carve a mask at their very birth, one which their very spirit is meant to inhabit, hence a mask spirit like me.
Of course, now I understand. Understand what?
Crash then subtly walks up to and stands next to Coco.
What we call the spirit is actually a concentrated form of psionic energy that stems from the brain and spreads throughout the body. Psionic energy is a form of cosmic energy which in turn the eclipse gave to the idol, allowing it to form a spirit of its own.
Everyone looks awkwardly at Coco while Crash gives Coco a thumbs up.
You know, I can never really understand you when you talk like that.
Look, what she's trying to say is that Waka was using the eclipse's power to extract the mojo from the fruits in order to bring the Totem God to life. I have heard that Wumpa fruit contains the purest essence of mojo, but this theory has yet to be proven.
And you helped him.
No, please, you must believe me. I didn't want to help, but he said the village would be spared. Even without the Totem God, we are at the mercy of such a being. That's why we have Aku Aku to protect us. But he perched himself on my head to keep an eye on us. I couldn't go to him. Even knowing that wouldn't matter.
What do you mean, Aku?
There is a legend that speaks of the Totem God rising again, as it had in the past. But in the battle it was used in, a great evil corrupted it. Evil was too powerful to destroy, so it was extracted from the idol and placed within the moon. But deprived of sufficient mojo, the body could not function, and so had to be left as a reminder of its corruption. The tradition of the eclipse was in remembrance of the idol's sacrifice. As to the ancients, the Totem God was as much a part of them as any of their children.
So this legend, does it tell us how to beat it?
Yes, but
But what?
the crazy thing is, the Wumpa fruits wouldn't have been enough to activate the ritual. They possess pure mojo, but it's still not enough for the energy in the moon to react. You would need a great sufficient amount of mojo, especially during a dance. Tana and Coco then awkwardly look at Crash for a moment. Papu then realizes what happened. Like I said, stupid.
It's not like you knew. Aku, how do we stop that thing?
I'm afraid the legend states that only a living mojo master can stop it. This is why I've been training Crash. The Bandicoot? Are you serious? His training may be incomplete, but he has potential. Really? Tell me, great Aku Aku, did the Bandicoot collect the Wumpa fruit on his own, or did he have help from you and his friends? Tana and friends then look away, slightly awkwardly. Well, I knew it. I don't know what you were thinking in choosing that brainless thing as your successor. Hearing this, Crash is saddened, deciding to walk away in his sorrow.
That brainless thing is my boyfriend, you fat tabelard.
Oh, whatever. We and the Wumpa Islands are doomed. Doomed, I tell you. Aku Aku then notices Crash walking off in sadness, deciding to follow behind him.
A moment later, Crash is sitting at the top of the tallest tree above the native village, watching the Totem God destroy everything from a distance while sipping Wumpa juice out of a Wumpa fruit.
Feel the power of the Totem God. Who needs legs now?
Aku Aku then approaches Crash from below.
Don't let what Papu said get to you, Crash. You're not well, your brain's been rearranged, but your heart's in the right place. Now, no sulking. Everything will turn out okay. I just destroyed an orphanage. 10 points for Waka Waka. Alright, maybe not okay. I know you've probably had your doubts ever since you came to this island, but I chose you for a reason, Crash. True heroes aren't born. They're not even made. But a true hero lies within us all.
Crash then hugs Aku Aku, much to his surprise.
Oh, now then, how about we come up with a plan?
Already thought of one.
Crash and Aku then look back to see Tana and Coco approaching them.
Turns out I was mistaken about something. While the spirit was formed from cosmic energy, the body is powered by a planetary energy that the Wumpa fruits provided.
I knew there was something off about your theory.
Why didn't you say anything?
Because who am I to step on your thunder?
Noted. If we can just get our hands on one more Wumpa fruit, we can convert the pure mojo within the fruit into a negative form, therefore creating an opposition to the positive form.
Everyone looks at Coco with an expression of confusion, unable to understand her technical talk.
To put it simply, she can make an energy that acts as a repellent of pure mojo, like repelling magnets.
Even so, where are we going to find a Wumpa?
Everyone shrugs their shoulders, accepting the coincidence.
Let's get to work!
Moments later, on Insanity Island, the Totem God is floating toward the native fortress.
Well, destroying things was fun, but now to finish one last bit of business. Aku Aku, I know you're in there. Cower before the might of the Totem God.
After a moment of silence, Waka looks down to notice that the native fortress seems to be a bit deserted.
Aku Aku? Aku Aku? Don't, come on! You're ruining this for me! I had a whole evil speech plan! Aku Aku!
Meanwhile, Crash and Coco are hiding behind one of the huts in the native village.
Okay, Crash, you know the plan. I was able to reconfigure broken parts of the mecha into this Wumpa launcher. We only have one Wumpa fruit, so you only get one shot. You think you can do it?
Crash gives a thumbs up after receiving the launcher, his tongue sticking out to signify his goofy attitude. Who knows where his mind is right now?
Okay, time for Operation Wumpa Wump.
Alright, that's it. If you're not going to come out, I'll just vaporize the whole village myself.
No need, Waka Waka. Waka then looks on to see Aku Aku way above the village.
Your fight is with me. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's dance!
The Totem God then shoots eye beams at Aku Aku, who dodges them as best he can. Meanwhile, Coco and Anna all ride out on the Crikey car built by Coco.
Coco, I'll always appreciate your engineering skills. Let's just hope we could Crash a good shot. There's an opening in the idol's mouth. We just need to get in close enough for Crash to launch the Wumpa fruit. Wait, you left that job to Crash? Would you rather he be on the field causing trouble? Good point.
In the meantime, Crash is waiting on the top of the native fortress wall, bored out of his mind until the Totem God arrives. Coco and Anna then drive toward the Totem God, trying to catch Waka's attention.
You bighead!
Huh?
Your mama's a splinter!
Don't you talk about my mother! She was a healer!
Angered, Waka Waka starts chasing the duo with the Totem God.
Crash, get ready! Huh?
Crash then picks up the Wumpa launcher, ready to fire at Coco's signal.
Almost! Almost!
Waka and his Totem God get the closest they can to the native fortress.
No!
Crash then launches the Wumpa fruit, which its core shows a small glowing dark purple energy at the Totem God. Waka Waka then notices the fruit coming at him.
What in the...
As the Wumpa fruit gets closer, everyone looks on in excitement, at least until the Totem God turns its head completely around, revealing a second face at the back of it with a closed mouth. A silence fills the air as the Wumpa fruit goes splat on the stone teeth of the Totem God.
No.
Are you serious? You thought I'd fall for that? I've been studying mojo for eons. I could sense the bad mojo from a mile away.
Coco then stops the car in abject shock.
Coco! We failed.
Crash then looks down to see Coco's sad face. Crash then has a slight flashback, remembering people laughing at Coco in an unknown place. Her sad face clear in his mind. Crash then jumps off the wall, but then freezes in midair, realizing his mistake after looking down. In the aftermath of the fall, Crash exits his body imprint in the ground and then proceeds to shake his head. Crash then zooms toward the Totem God, passing by Coco and Tana like a bullet train.
Crash!
Crash continues zooming forward, his legs going so fast that they look like a wheel.
The Bandicoot? What's he gonna do? Stupid me to death?
Crash then zooms up a hill like a ramp, followed by using his signature tornado spin to lift himself up high until he gets on top of the Totem God's head swiftly.
What the? Hey! No free rides! Unless you can at least pay a deductible.
Crash then jumps toward Waka Waka while also doing martial arts poses in midair as a sign of intimidation. However, Waka then fires a beam of Mojo at Crash, which stops him in his tracks in midair. Crash then notices the crack he made on Waka's head, catching his attention.
I should thank you, Bandicoot. If not for you, I would have never awakened the Totem God. So as your reward, I'll give you a quick death.
Waka then flings Crash up high into the air, leading everyone to look on in horror.
Crash!
As Crash gets higher, the range of Waka's power diminishes in an instant, freeing Crash. Crash then looks around, only to see Waka all the way down below him. Crash then remembers the crack on Waka's head and gets an idea. In cartoonish fashion, Crash begins somersaulting in midair and in place, finally stopping and spreading eagle, followed by dropping down fast almost as if he was about to perform a belly flop dive.
Now, Aku Aku, the time has come to...
Waka then begins to hear the sound of cartoonish whistling.
What's that sound?
Waka then looks up and then back down in surprise.
Oh, crud.
Crash then body slams Waka Waka, causing Waka to shatter into smaller pieces of wood.
No!
Waka disconnecting from the Totem God leads it to fall to the ground, once again attached to it. Waka's pieces then fall to the ground, Waka's mouth detached from his eyes.
It's just never my day!
As Crash gets up, everyone begins to cheer for him, but it all stops the moment the Totem God regains its own consciousness, much to everyone's distress.
It's still possessed by the evil Mojo.
I'm all out of Wumpa fruits!
Being finally free, Tiki-Man harnesses its mojo and summons little Tiki soldiers to its aid, ready for battle.
Of course. It never gets worse.
The Tiki soldiers then begin advancing toward Tana, Coco, and Aku Aku.
I was being sarcastic!
As Crash looks on, he notices the Tikis getting closer to his friends, leading him to show a hint of anger toward the Tikis, allowing him to awaken the mojo within his body. Crash then somersaults all the way to his friends, facing down the army of Tikis. Utilizing his mojo, Crash unleashes his death tornado spin, wiping out the army of Tikis in an instant and cartoonish way.
Whoa! Oh, way!
He's done it! He's awakened his mojo! I knew I made the right choice!
Crash then jumps up high, followed by tornado spinning toward the closed mouth of the Totem God.
What's he doing?
To everyone's shock, Crash sucks up the splattered Wumpa fruit from the stone teeth of the idol.
Ew! What is wrong with you? I'm evil, but I'm not crazy!
Crash then rinses the Wumpa fruit in his mouth into Wumpa juice, followed by spinning to the open mouth of the Totem God, allowing him to spit the Wumpa juice right into it.
Gross!
Wait a minute. The Totem God then reacts to the bad mojo, causing its pure mojo to react negatively.
No, 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 no!
After a minute, the Totem God then falls down lifeless, the energy powering it cancelled out by the lone fruit juice. With a loud boom, the Totem God falls forward into the ground. Before Waka's pieces can escape, Aku Aku uses the same paralysis spell that Waka used on Aku Aku earlier.
What are you going to do with me?
Oh, I know just the thing. Using his mojo magic, Aku Aku turns Waka Waka into a crate with Aku Aku's face on it as a means of messing with him, followed by burying him under the native village.
I can promise you this, Aku Aku. This won't be the last time you see me.
Let's hope for the best then. After fully burying Waka Waka, Papu Papu approaches Crash and friends.
Well, it looks like all's well that ends well.
And Crash doesn't have to leave the island.
Of course he does!
What?
If not for him, we wouldn't have been in danger in the first place. He may have freed us from that tyrant, but he's still responsible for the eclipse. Then there is no way I'm letting my island be ravaged by that stupid Bandicoot.
Suddenly, a beam of energy hits Papu Papu and spreads to the rest of the native village. After a bit, the energy disappears.
What just happened?
Ooga booga.
Huh?
That's the language we used back when...
Coco, what did you do?
Plan B? In case the Wumpa search didn't work out, I also invented a blaster that regresses the brain to its primitive state.
You what?
Ooh. Huh? Aku, 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 Aku. Aku Aku looks down as the tribesmen all bow to him, revering him as a god.
I guess this won't backfire.
Hopefully. Just then, an electrical surging sound is heard.
Won't matter anyway. Blaster's busted.
Just great. I'm going to get some sleep. Aku Aku then teleports away.
And he forgot us. Well, at least the whole Wumpa fruit thing is over.
Tana and Coco then nervously look on to see Crash eating a Wumpa fruit. Crash then looks back, a bit perplexed at Coco and Tana's reaction to seeing him, leading him to hold out the half-eaten Wumpa fruit to offer his girlfriend and sister. Just then, the shadows of the tribesmen loom over Crash, followed by him looking up to see Papu and the tribesmen with angry looks on their faces. Probably because Crash still took a Wumpa fruit that belonged to them.
Thiefa, thiefa! Bandicoot!
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to check out our merch store, buy me a coffee page, and Amazon affiliate link linked in the description and pinned comment below, so you can help us expand the channel and give you guys higher quality content. Also, if you want to check out our original content, be sure to check out the playlists linked in the description below. With all that said and done, I'm JT Anime, and I'll check you guys later.